On the 23rd of February this year, citizens of Germany are going to be voting for the next members of parliament who are going to be representing Germany for the next period of years. To know more about the coming elections, stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be diving into the 2025 German federal election, unpacking what's at stake for the future of Germany and Europe. Stay tuned as we break down the key issues, the candidates, and how the election could shape the next chapter in German politics. So why is this election very important? The election of chancellor in Germany is a very pivotal event in the country's political system. The chancellor is the head of government in Germany. It's similar to the role of a prime minister in many countries. They hold significant political power, steering governments, directing domestic and foreign policies, and representing Germany on the global stage. The chancellor's leadership influences key areas such as the economy, healthcare, social policies, and national relations. However, Germany does not have a direct popular vote for the chancellor. Instead, the election for chancellor is not a head-to-head contest in between two candidates in a presidential system. Rather, it is tied to the broader Bundestag. In English, one could translate it as the federal parliament. Now, why is the chancellor election very important? There are different reasons why the chancellor election is very important, but then I would narrow it to like certain spectrums such as the political leadership, the coalition government, the impact on domestic and international policies, democratic representation. Now, on the political leadership, the chancellor is responsible for forming a government and leading the executive branch. The individual holding the office has substantial influence such as national policies and the direction of Germany. Coalition government. Germany's political system often results in coalition governments because no single party typically gains an outright majority in the Bundestag, like I said, the federal parliament. The chancellor is usually chosen from the party or coalition that can command majority in the parliament. Now, its impact on domestic and international policy. The chancellor plays a role in shaping both national and international policies, particularly on policies like climate change, economic reform, immigration, and EU relations. To the domestic representation, the election is a chance for German citizens to have their say on the leadership of their country. Voters do not elect the chancellor, but they elect the members of the parliament, which is the federal Bundestag, which ultimately determines who will be the next chancellor. Now, let's take like an overview on all the candidates for the German elections, and I'm going to take step by step who are contesting for the Bundestag, like I said earlier on, the federal parliament. Now, number one is Friedrich Merz. The person you can see on my screen right now, he is representing the CSU-CDU party. CSU or CDU means Christian Democratic Union. Now, Friedrich Merz is representing this party, and after securing like 95% of delegate votes, he seeks to return to conservatism following the party's 2021 defeat. Second candidate is Olaf Scholz. Olaf Scholz is the present Chancellor of Germany, and he belongs to the SPD party, which means the Social Democrats. Olaf Scholz is Germany's Chancellor and a member of the center-left SPD. He has been nominated as his party's candidate despite the weak poll numbers. The SPD, Germany's oldest political party, rebounded in 2021, allowing Olaf Scholz to lead a traffic light coalition, which means a coalition between the SPD, the Greens, and the FDP. I will talk more about the Greens and the FDP as the video goes on. Candidate number 3 is Alice Weidel. Alice Weidel represents the AfD party, which means Alternative for Germany. They are like the right-wing party. The AfD was founded in 2013. It opposes immigration and European integration. Alice Weidel is its first chancellor candidate, but other parties refuse to cooperate with the AfD. Despite the fact that other parties don't want to work with them, their polls are at 18 to 19%, making it the second strongest party after the center-right Christian Democrats, which is the CDU. The fourth candidate is Robert Habeck. Robert Habeck represents the Greens. In German, we call the party Die Grünen. So the Greens is a progressive political party focused on environmental protection and sustainable economic policies. The party lost popularity in recent elections, whose support currently hovers around 10%. Robert Habeck, the current Vice Chancellor and Economy Minister, is the Greens candidate for Chancellor in its upcoming election. The next person is Sarah Wagenknecht. Sarah Wagenknecht represents the BSW party known as Sarah Wagenknecht Alliance. She is a prominent German politician, founded the Sarah Wagenknecht Alliance, the BSW, in January 2024 after leaving her party, the Left. In English, we call it the Left. In German, it's known as Die Linken. BSW represents leftist economic policies and conservative migration views and a pro-Russian foreign stance. The party has gained strong support, particularly in Eastern Germany, challenging traditional political dynamics. The other candidate is Christian Lindner. He's representing the FDP. The FDP means Free Democratic Party. Christian Lindner leads the Free Democratic Party, a liberal and pro-business party. As finance minister under Olaf Scholz, Lindner played a key role in economic policy until his dismissal, which triggered the collapse of the coalition government. I had mentioned earlier on that there was a coalition government between the SPD, the Green, and the FDP. The FDP now faces declining support, raising questions about its future influence in German elections and politics. The final candidates, Heidi Raschinek and Jan van Aken, they represent Die Linken, in English known as the Left Party. The Left Party, formed from former East German communists and descendant Social Democrats, is a left-wing populist party and support concentrated in Eastern Germany. However, the rise of the BSW, the party that belongs to Wagenknecht, has pushed the party to the brink of extinction and its chances reaching the parliamentary threshold in doubt. So, when we talk about the elections, definitely there are certain issues that need to be buttressed upon, and I picked out like a few pressing issues, and these are like the main issues right now that a lot of people, a lot of Germans are really focusing their attention on. And for example, issues like climate change and energy policy, economy and jobs, immigration and refugee policy, EU relations and foreign policy, and finally, social issues. Now, let's analyze how the different parties are going to handle these issues or topics when they come into power. And it's more like saying, let's take a quick look at what their various manifestos are from the 7 parties that I have mentioned earlier on. Now, let's start with the CDU-CSU. Their manifesto focuses on strengthening Germany's economy, ensuring long prosperity through tax reforms, and supporting digital and green innovations. It aims to ensure robust national security, improve defense capabilities, and strengthen Germany's role within the NATO and the EU. Now, on the aspect of migration, the party seeks a controlled first system, prioritizing integration while addressing labor market needs. Socially, the CDU emphasizes strengthening family values, supporting education, and promoting opportunities for all citizens. Additionally, the party advocates for a free and fair welfare state, ensuring that the social system support those in need and encouraging personal responsibilities on work. Furthermore, the CSU on the migration issues emphasizes a controlled and fair immigration system that balances Germany's economic needs with social integration. It calls for a skilled labor migration policy, which focuses on attracting field workers in fields where Germany faces labor shortages, particularly in sectors like healthcare, technology, and construction. On asylum and refugee policies, the CDU advocates for a fair and efficient asylum process while ensuring that those who do not qualify for asylum are returned to their home countries. The party also proposes to strengthen border controls and increase cooperation with EU partners and better manage external borders. The second party, which is the SPD, what is their view? Or let's also take a look at their manifesto. Now, their manifesto focuses on building a fairer and more inclusive society through policies and prioritize social justice, equal opportunities, and workers' rights. It advocates for a green transformation of the economy with a strong emphasis on ensuring affordable housing for all. Now, on the aspect of migration, the party supports a humane and just immigration policy which focuses on integration, protecting refugees, and offering clear pathways to citizenship. Lastly, the SPD emphasizes strengthening Germany's role in the EU and globally, advocating for more solidarity and progressive policies within Europe and beyond. The third party, which is the AfD manifesto centers on national sovereignty and advocating for policies that prioritize Germany's cultural identity and interests. It calls for a reduction in immigration with stricter policies that controls on asylum seekers and a focus on returning migrants who do not meet legal requirements. The party also stresses law and order, proposing stronger measures to combat crime, particularly amongst migrants, and reforming Germany's judiciary system to ensure harsher punishments. On the economy, the AfD supports tax cuts, reducing the state's role in the market and ensuring Germany's energy independence, with skepticism towards the EU's green politics. The AfD is critical of the EU, advocating for a reduced role in European integration and the protection of Germany's national interests in foreign policies. The next party, which is the Grünen, which is also known as the Green Party, its manifesto is centered on achieving climate justice with a bold commitment to making Germany carbon neutral by 2045 through investment in renewable energy, sustainable mobility, and raising the minimum wage, improving social housing, and implementing progressive tax policies. The Greens emphasize on human rights and social equality, supporting policies that ensure better integration of refugees, gender equality, and equal opportunities for all. They aim to strengthen Germany's role in the EU and internationally, advocating for stronger European unity and global climate action. Additionally, the Greens are committed to promoting a green transformation in agriculture and industry, with a focus on biodiversity, conservation, sustainable food systems, and the protection of national resources. Now, what does the BSW, which is the party of Sarah Wagenknecht Alliance, what does their manifesto look like? Now, the manifesto focuses on economic justice, advocating for policies that combat growing inequality by redistributing wealth and protecting workers' rights. She's very critical of globalization and neoliberal economic policies, calling for a stronger emphasis on national sovereignty, fair trade, and ensuring that multinational corporations are held accountable. Wagenknecht, which is the flag bearer of the BSW, the candidate for chancellor, she supports a universal basic income to reduce poverty and provide economic security for all citizens. She advocates for a more selective immigration policy, emphasizing the importance of integrating newcomers while protecting German workers and public policies. On the environment, she supports transitioning to green energy, but we focus on balancing ecological goals with economy stability and avoiding job losses in traditional industries. As the Free Democratic Party, its manifesto emphasizes individual freedom and the importance of market-driven economy, advocating for lower taxes, less regulation, and greater economic liberation. They support digital innovation and technical advancement, aiming to make Germany a global leader in social policy. Calls for personal responsibility and a strong commitment to civil liberties, opposing excessive state intervention in people's lives. They advocate for a pragmatic approach to climate change, promoting green technologies and market-based solutions rather than heavy-handed regulations. The FDP also supports EU integrations, emphasizing the importance of a strong European Union based on economic cooperation but without compromising national sovereignty. Now, the last party, the Linke, which is also known as the Left Party, its manifesto focuses on social justice and aims to reduce inequality by raising taxes on the wealthy, increasing the minimum wage, and expanding social benefits. They advocate for public ownership of key sectors such as energy, healthcare, and transformation to ensure that essential services are accessible and affordable for all citizens. The party emphasizes a green transformation of the economy, prioritizing investments in renewable energy, job creations in green industries, and stricter environmental protections. The Linke calls for a fair migration policy, supporting the rights of refugees, and seek a peace-oriented foreign policy, opposing military interventions, and promoting diplomacy and disarmament within the EU and internationally. Now, I'm going to be analyzing the campaign and media analysis of the 7 parties I had mentioned earlier on, and what are like their media, digital, and campaign strategies. Now, starting with the CDU, known as the Christian Democratic Union, I'm going to talk about like 3 aspects regarding the campaign policies and their strategies, so to speak. Now, I'm going to focus on the traditional media, digital media, and the campaign style. Now, for the CDU, They continue to leverage traditional media, particularly TV and print advertisements, to reach older voters who may not be engaged on social media. They focus heavily on political debates, talk shows, and newspaper interviews with party leaders. For the digital strategy, the CDU has worked to modernize its digital presence, although it still lags behind on some rivals like the Greens or the SPD in digital innovations. The party uses social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram to engage with voters, especially the younger demographic. Their messaging focuses on stability, experience, and continuity, with emphasis on economic recovery and national security. Now, the campaigning style, the CDU represents itself as a party of responsibility and competence, often focusing on the need for a stronger and experienced leader, particularly in the context of Germany's post-pandemic recovery. Now, the second party, which is the SPD, the Social Democratic Party. The SPD has a strong presence in print media, with advertisements in major newspapers and direct mail campaigns to reach middle-class voters. They focus on highlighting social justice and economic fairness in TV commercials and newspaper ads. To the digital strategy, the SPD has leaned heavily into social media campaigns, utilizing platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to connect with younger voters and promote their social and economic agendas. The party's messaging focuses on progressive values, including higher wages, affordable housing, and improved social welfare. Their campaign style or approach focuses on empathy and solidarity, with a consistent message of standing up for workers, ensuring social protection, and reducing inequality. The party leader often appears in personal, informal settings to connect with voters on a human level, showing a more relatable side of the party. Now, the third party, which is the AFD, the Alternative for Germany. The AFD has struggled with mainstream media. It feels often, or how would I say it, often criticizing what they call the mainstream media bias, in which they feel because of like their policies and what they want to implement in Germany, the media doesn't really focus a lot on them in terms of like giving them opportunity to utilize media platforms, let's put it like that. And they feel like this mainstream bias or mainstream media bias against them has kind of like limited or made them struggle within the mainstream media. Now, however, they still make use of alternative and regional outlets to broadcast their messages, especially on nationalistic and anti-immigration platforms. To the digital strategy, the AFD has a highly active presence on social media, particularly on Facebook, YouTube, and Telegram. Interesting. Using these platforms to directly engage with their base, share unfiltered messages, and mobilize supporters, they utilize memes, videos, and provocative posts to attract attention and promote their anti-migration or anti-immigration, anti-EU, and nationalist agenda. To the campaign style, the AFD campaigns are provocative and often controversial, focusing on themes of nationalism, sovereignty, and anti-establishment sentiments. They challenge the political elite and present themselves as the voice of the people, particularly in the face of growing immigration and EU influence. The fourth party, which is the Greens, also known as Die Grünen in German, the Greens are heavily presented or represented in digital platforms, but they also make use of TV and print ads focusing on environmental policies, sustainability, and social justice. They often run commercials that highlight climate action and future-oriented policies, especially targeting younger and environmentally conscious voters. To the digital strategy, the Greens have an exceptionally strong digital presence, using Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube to engage with a younger, eco-conscious audience. They create shareable content like eco-friendly tips, climate change facts, and direct calls to action to mobilize their base. To the campaign style, the Greens' messaging is focused on hope, transformation, and environmental responsibility, framing the election as a crucial moment for Germany's future. Their leader, especially the Annalena Baerbock, is represented as a progressive, climate-conscious leader who understands the urgency of addressing climate change while fostering social justice. Now, the fifth party, which is the FDP, the Free Democratic Party. To the traditional media, the FDP continues to use traditional print and radio advertising, appealing to governments, owners, entrepreneurs, and those in favor of free market policies. Their TV presence focuses on promoting economic freedom, digital innovation, and individual rights. The digital strategy of the FDP is a very active one on social media, particularly on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, where they promote policies around free market economies, entrepreneurship, and digitalization. Their messaging is designed to appeal to young professionals, small business owners, and tech-savvy voters. Now, the FDP's campaign emphasizes freedom, innovation, and opportunity, portraying the party as the champion of economic dynamism and personal liberty. Their leadership represents the party or presents the party as the best solution for lower taxes, deregulation, and entrepreneur-friendly environment. Number 6, which is the Linker, the Left Party, makes use of print media and TV ads to promote their message of social justice, anti-austerity, and workers' rights. They focus heavily on addressing income inequality, welfare expansion, and the need for strong public services. To the digital strategy, the party has been more focused on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, creating content that resonates with younger, left-wing voters interested in social change and labor rights. Their digital presence emphasizes grassroots mobilizations with calls of demonstrations, activism, and progressive policy reforms. To the campaigning style, the left campaign revolves around class struggle, promoting a clear message of anti-capitalism, solidarity, and public ownership. Their rhetoric focuses on helping marginalized economies, communities, fighting inequality, and ending corporate influence in politics. And to the final party, which is the BSW, the party from Sarah Wagenknecht, also makes use of print media and TV ads to promote their message of social justice and also promote their message on what they want to do in Germany and their goals and their wishes and the things they wish to change and implement by the time they come into power. They also make use of a lot of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and according to the campaigning style, they still make use of talking about like the innovations they want to implement in Germany, talking about like the leadership and what the party presents as the best solution for Germany in the nearest future. So guys, in this video, I just spoke about like the candidates that are contesting to become the next German chancellor, and the election for these members of parliament is going to take place on the 23rd of February this month, this year. And if you want to know more about the election, stay tuned to this page, because on my next video I'm going to be talking about like the election process, how do people vote in Germany, what does the coalition building and the post-election prediction. So stay tuned. So please, if you're watching, if you are eligible to vote in Germany, please vote wisely, read and follow up your candidates as to why you want to vote for them. Don't vote for people because everybody is voting for them, especially if you are an immigrant in Germany. If you are someone who maybe your family has like 3-4 generations that has lived in Germany, please know how you're voting, know who you're voting for, and see you guys in my next video. And it's your girl Joyce V. Please like, share my video, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.